doing? It's another Friday night, and we're flying to the weekend for some SilverHawk action. We're Ramen Toys here. We have our special guest, Ace, with us. I do apologize for the delay, little technical issues, but welcome, Ace. Thank you for hanging with us. Thank you for bearing us with us. The technical issues here. Appreciate it. Wait for you, but thank you for coming to hang with us on this podcast, as we like to call it.
Mhm.
Well, thanks,
Thanks for doing.
Dante, for having me and Alex as well. Well, it's a good morning here in China, and yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So, since we are off to a bit of a late start, what do you say we get right into it, Ace? And why don't you tell us a little bit about a brief history of Ramen Toys, if you can? Because to me, it seems like you kind of popped out of nowhere with the '80s Commander, and right off the bat, the reception was pretty great. And how do you get to make such great toys? And like just out of nowhere, it feels like.
Wow, um, where do I begin? So I've been a kid all my life. I don't know. Is a kid trapped in a 45-year-old man's body,
Hmm.
and I had always had my love for the hobby. I guess I really got into it when I went to Japan, Wonder Festival in the year 2000, and I never looked back. It was always about toys. It was eBay. It was myself setting up a store in Singapore in 2003. I went to Hong Kong in '05 to sort of pursue that, you know, career, if you might say, in toys and stuff by working for an online action figure collectibles e-commerce store,
Hmm.
and that company soon went on to do their own license properties. And then in 2014 I came out on my own to do Caliber Toys, where I licensed Transformers Age of Extinction. I just did like novelty stuff like keychains,
Hmm.
coin
Right.
banks and stuff like that. And then it's always been the back of my mind to make the stuff in the 80s as I grew up loving them. And I gathered my friends from Singapore and said that, hey guys, if you want to do it, you got to do it now. We're already 45. It's not going to
Hmm.
be forever, so let's do it now. So last year in 2021, I sort of got them to approve my concept of getting the 80s commanders done. Firstly, we had no idea what the reception is going to be. We set up a simple Facebook page. It got to 1,000 likes like within a month or something.
Hmm.
And we put out some prototypes. We had nothing in hand. We just said, hey guys, this is our prototypes. If you support us, give us some money, we'll make the tooling and we'll deliver the product. And then fast forward just a year and a half later, here we are, talking about at least three more properties. Again, we are in the third party business.
Hmm.
And I've mentioned this before in my previous live streams about how, well, I'm not going to dwell into it too much, but yeah, so that's how I got onto the bandwagon of Ramen Toy.
Hmm. Interesting.
Nice.
And it's
Yeah.
also, go ahead, Dante, you wanted to ask me something?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, 80s Commander, I think it was really a smart choice because if I'm not mistaken, they really haven't released them in any new modern take or modern form or anything. So I think you really picked on something that people that were kids in the '80s would really gravitate to. So I think it was a really smart choice to unveil Ramen Toys with '80s Commander. What was Do you have a close connection to the original toys? Why '80s Commanders, and what was the reception for you when you did start putting up pictures on your Facebook and do the pre-order and all that stuff?
Well, the connection is not as deep as perhaps He-Man, right?
Mhm.
Because I definitely recall my first ever action figure that I recall, right, is He-Man. Although I see that in my toy collection, I got a Superman, I got a Batman, I got a Darth Vader, I got a Boba Fett, right? But these are all like the early Star Wars figures. So, but as I recall myself buying the first He-Man, I don't recall buying a Star Wars. I don't recall buying a Superman, right? But I definitely recall buying a He-Man.
Hmm.
And as for the Centurions, I only had Max Ray and I believe it's Doc Terror. I got it on sale, and that's the only reason why I got it because funds are tight for mom, and
Hmm.
I remember clearly that Doc Terror was on sale, and I got him then. So I
Hmm.
never had any of the other weapon systems. I saw it as a kid on the TV shows, as the commercials. Get your depth charger, get your this and that. But I only had Max Ray. That's it, right?
Hmm.
So the connection is not as deep as you might think, but it is nonetheless a connection.
Hmm.
And we sort of felt that the market is currently really into figures, and I thought that of all the figures, the first one to make at least it would be Centurions because I could utilize one body and make it
Hmm.
into three characters, and I could sort of input my more real world take on these guys,
Hmm.
and yeah, the rest is history.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you kind of started with Centurions because I think we've wanted like there's collectors out there that wanted Centurions and wanted to see like them make that great comeback, like they should have had. And I'm glad you kind of started with them. And I guess were you really just like kind of testing the waters with like this 80s commanders, like seeing kind of like the interest and saying, hey, with that, saying, hey, this is where we'll start at, we'll test the waters with this, and then if this does good, then you have your next project lined up after that once you seen this where you kind of taking off.
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Did so when you started with the 80s commander, did
Yeah.
you once you seen these was taking off, did you already have like your next projects set up, or were you just like let's do the 80s commander, see how this works, and then if this goes well, this will
Oh
be
yeah,
our next
definitely.
project.
I mean, yeah. So yeah. So Dante, definitely. Everything is all up in my mind here, and the '80s Commander was definitely just a litmus test for us. I mean, if nobody bought the figures, we wouldn't be sitting here today talking to you.
Hmm.
So
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And what did you guys at Ramen Toys feel the reception was like right off the bat? Was it pretty positive, overwhelmingly positive? What was the take that you got from when you first unveiled it?
Um, I think there's a mixture of both positive and negative in everything,
Hmm.
and the positives would be the collectors and supporters that really sort of maybe they felt what I was trying to do, and then the other side, which is like don't destroy my childhood. Don't redesign them.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to be 6 inch. They are supposed to have functions, etc., etc. So there is definitely two sides. Like I said, with everything, there's always two sides.
Yeah.
The idea is to be able to, you know, get the positives as your energy, and then negotiate the negatives as obstacles along your way.
Hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Good point.
Yeah. So I'm going through some of these here, and then you had your first test shots and your first live stream showing this off, uh,
Yeah.
and you were showing off the colors. I like how you guys kept everybody informed. That's one thing that a lot of toy manufacturers don't do too much of anymore is keep the consumers informed, the collectors informed of, hey, this is the next step in the process. This is the next step that we're going through. This is what we're going through next. And I've seen a lot of third parties doing that now. With that, is that something that you had in mind to say, hey, to me as a collector, that's something I want to keep in mind too. Like if something's like holding up the product, I want to be front facing about it. Say, hey, this is what the issue is that we ran into. We're gonna let everybody know.
Or even when things are good, just
Yeah.
communication.
Yes.
How?
Yeah, I never really planned all this out. I was just sharing the
Mhm.
progress.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
I'm a person that loves to share stuff, not always positive. Sometimes, is not always good, right? So I'm sharing stuff. I could be ranting at times, right? So it's all part of the whole nature of sharing. So when you share stuff, it's either you share the good stuff, you might share the bad stuff subconsciously, right? But you're still sharing. So when I was doing all these things, to you guys, it seems like, oh, this company is keeping people informed. But to me, I was just sharing, like, I would just show you what I'm doing. This is part of it. There's no particular like, oh, we got to do this in order to tell them that no, there's this. It's all subconscious.
Mm. Yeah, well, I mean, communication is key. What I've noticed, just looking at the toy industry over the last several years, it's always good when you're talking to the people that will eventually buy your product. Like we said, good or bad, it's important to
Exactly.
keep them informed because it puts them at ease. So kudos on the job you guys have been doing. So can you tell us a little bit about what stuff you have is available? I've seen some reviews. I'm not sure if like the SilverHawks are available right now. I think most of the stuff is still up for pre-order, but I have seen some reviews of in-hand SilverHawks figures, and all the reviews that I've seen are pretty much over the top with it. I mean, they love it. They love the paint jobs and the articulation. It's I look at your Silverhawks line, for example, as very faithful to the source material, but your design team also put a little bit of their own identity into it. Can you talk a little bit about what you have, the status of the things that you have available, if any, or if it's up for pre-order? Fill us in a little bit on that.
Yeah. So Alex, what we have already in collectors' hands are the 80s Commanders and the 3-pack. Silverhawks is actually shipping middle of this month. We're in the month of July already. So we're
Mhm.
shipping in the middle of this month. And then we had one sample off to the Mad Hatter for review. He got it up on YouTube.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. We are going to be sending out Quicksilver in the middle of July. And following that, very, very quickly by the end of July or early August would be Monstar. And we're going to continue that with, of course, the antagonist cyborg and then the land drone. In regards to the, aesthetic wise, we always want to, the reason why we're doing this is because we felt that we want to add a little bit of our essence into these characters, not to drastically change them too much. Because when I first got into this idea, I actually pitched it to a big retailer in the US. I'm not going to say the name because I don't want the person to feel
Sure,
that
sure,
I'm disclosing stuff that we
sure,
talked
sure.
about behind closed doors.
Right.
But
Mhm.
I spoke to a big online retailer in the US about potentially, doing all these third party stuff because they were at the point of time. I think this was in 2014. All right,
Mhm.
when I came out on my own, I was trying to get my foothold into the industry. Get like cooperations with big players, right?
Mhm.
So that particular person said, "Oh, we're interested to do our own IP. We're interested to do our own brand." And
Mhm.
then myself, being more of a creative person, I'm okay if I'm creating something for somebody else. It's just like magicians and maybe songwriters, right? The
Mhm.
songwriter might not be the guy that sings the song, and the magician might not be the one that's performing the act, but
Mhm.
that person that creates is the one that's doing the stuff. So I was more than happy to assist this other potential brand to set up something, and I was like pitching, a range of stuff, including a remake of Centurions, some Gacha Man,
Mhm.
and stuff like that. But I at the point of time I had no concepts. I just went online and took some pictures that people actually customized into their own take on Centurions. One of which, if you guys check online, you will notice that one of them are this particular person, how he customized the figures is more like Halo. So I wouldn't go that route because I felt that if by going that route, it really drastically changes the
Mhm.
character to what we know
Mhm.
as a kid. And I don't want that. I don't want to be going out destroying even my own childhood, right? So
Yeah.
if I'm going out
Right.
to try to improve it, add some stylization, add some finesse, and
Yeah.
that's where we're at. Yeah.
Nice. And these are in-hand picks. Like, so Ace, I'm gonna say this. Looking at these picks in hand, like these out-of-box pictures. Um, After the show, I'm going to pre-order me a Silverhawk now. At this point,
Oh, thank you.
because
Yeah. Even the,
Just let you know, all these photographs that I take it myself with
mm,
my
right, okay,
Olympus Micro Four Thirds, and there's no Photoshop. We
mm,
don't touch up anything because I'm not a Photoshop person. I don't
mm,
know Photoshop.
mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's good because these look beautiful. The packaging
Yeah, even the
looks
packaging.
yeah, it's just amazing. Uh, and then I just have a little bit of question here. So I see it's Ramen Toy and Super Seven. Can you tell us a little bit about that, like how that kind of came about as well too?
Oh, definitely. So we first started out with the 80s Commanders, and I said again that we are, we embark on this journey being third party. We embark on this journey not getting out to acquire licenses because I've stated in my past stream that all these things come with a hefty cost that we're
Mm,
not in a position to negotiate, right? So we like to go about doing it third party, maybe just have a fan base, dedicated fan base. This is not going to be in your Walmart, your Kmart, your Target. This is going to be very, very niche. And we're happy with that because we want to make stuff, right? So we made a 80s Commander, and then next thing we revealed was Quicksilver, right? And we were prepared to call him something else. And then we got in a DM from Brian Flynn
mm,
on Facebook,
mm,
somewhere around May, if I'm not mistaken. And he said, "Hey guys, I own SilverHawks. Would you like to do it the proper way to license it?" And of course, I said, "Brian, we would love to." So we went ahead to draft a contract. Brian draft a contract for us to do it for like 2 years, and then we did it. That's it. Yeah.
Okay,
that's
cool.
simple. Wow,
That's
that's
not bad.
great. Yeah, and it's even more awesome that he was the one to reach out to you. Uh,
Right.
Probably because he saw the quality of the things that you were doing and was just like, hey, we got to bring this guy somehow into the fold in a way. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very magnanimous of Brian to offer us this opportunity because he himself, again, before when I did this rendition, I had no idea that Super Seven was going to be doing Silverhawks. No idea.
Mm,
And as if planned by destiny, the moment I release teaser images, then I realized that Super Seven is making Silverhawk figures, and they got all these renders all already, right?
mm,
So we were like, oh, wait a minute, right? And Brian said that he likes the way we're going with the style, and it doesn't conflict with what he's doing,
mm,
and we have it at a higher price point. So yeah, I think it was very nice of Brian to basically accept what most people would consider a competitor into
mm,
the fray.
mm.
But like I said, we were never in here to compete with Super Seven. We're here to just do our own thing. And he was so nice to say, hey guys, why don't we do it the proper way, right? License
Mhm,
Silverhawks.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now,
Well, go ahead.
oh sorry. I was going to say, do you have plans to come out with the rest of the Silverhawks?
Well, the plan was always there because we signed a contract with Brian saying that we had no idea how this is going to go. We'll try it out. If it works, we can consider to extend our licensing period for the other figures.
Mm,
If not, then we will just call it a day at these two.
mm.
So at the meantime, we'll see how this goes in terms of sales and then how Brian assesses the situation, and then from there, I think we will go further or make certain decisions. Yeah.
Right. Play
Look,
it by ear. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, we can play by ear all day. Look, Ace, I need my bluegrass, okay? I need my bluegrass and hot wing, okay? Those two I need out of the way. Bluegrass, because my boy Bluegrass was jamming on that guitar, and I need hot wing.
All right.
So
No
y'all hear that?
promises though.
Yeah, I'm gonna help y'all. Y'all hear that? Go out and pre-order. If you like Silverhawks, go to Ramen Toy and pre-order the Silverhawks, okay, y'all? Because I need my hot wing and I need my bluegrass.
So, besides Silverhawks and 80s Commanders, I see you've been posting some pics of another 80s property that was very popular. I myself was a huge collector of Mask, aka Machina. And it looks like, if you can pull up that red gold wing, looks like you're getting into vehicles also. So what? So these are 3 inches tall figures. They're kind of like more posable, upgrade, modern versions of the older figures. So why did you decide to a go to a smaller size? Pretty self-explanatory if you're coming out with a vehicle. And B, why did you decide to come out with a vehicle when you've been doing 6, 7 inch figures? What was the thought process behind that?
Right. So this is where we had some comments from collectors about how we were maybe all over the place, right? But I
Mm,
don't think that's the case. I think what we're doing is that we are trying to bring back the toys of the 80s that we love. And the way they were back then were like that, right?
mm,
We don't want to, impose too much on a skill. But most of all, the crux of the matter is basically finances and costs, right? Because in fact, I did tell my guys that we're not going to touch this because why? We're only going to do one color. This is not going to
mm,
be this mold is not going to be amortized at all. You can't do this in blue and green and whatever knots, right? This is going to be just one color and one color only, which also means there's only one run.
mm,
Now, no company would do a one run and invest so much on a tooling because again, guys, toolings are not cheap.
Yeah.
I think we've heard this many times, but neither are they exorbitant to the point where it's like a private jet. No, it's within reason as long as we have a good analysis on the supply and demand, right? As
mm,
long as we can sell X number of units to cover the tooling, then we're good. Which is why, for the Apache Commander, I had said that we need to reach the goal of 800 so that, everything is all kosher. Because again, if we can't survive ourselves to have, funds in the account, then how are we going to develop, right? So this is all just basic common sense.
mm,
Now, getting back to this subject in particular, the size and everything. If we were to do it, if we were to be known as a 6 inch maker, then for a 6 inch vehicle, it's going to be even bigger,
mm,
and even bigger means even more expensive.
mm,
And with all things considered, right? Yes, we can be gung ho about it. It doesn't mean that it's not impossible. Who knows, right? Because we have, again, I like to look at what's in the market to try to you know uh, draw a parallel.
mm,
So in Optimus Prime, you have him in Legend skill, you have him in Voyager skill, you have him in Masterpiece skill,
yeah.
and sometimes the third party even do it even bigger, right? So there's
Mm,
always a range of scales that the market is acceptable to. So maybe now we want to, go with the low hanging fruit, go with the more safety net, and we do it in such a way whereby all the costs considered, it's still within a reasonable project for most collectors to try to, dig into that, hard-earned money to support. Now, if there is going to be a chance that hey, there's really an overwhelming support to want to get this in 6 inch, of course we'll be game to do it because I'm here to just make stuff and I love making stuff. So it does not mean that again when I go into these things, I gotta be very careful because I don't want a scenario whereby I'm saying that we're not doing the 6 inch now because it's expensive, and then collectors have no choice but to buy the small one, and then down the road I make a 6 inch version, and then it's
mm,
I should have waited for the 6 inch version, right?
right.
I think everything has to be one after the other. Sometimes without one there is no other, and yeah, I think I've answered the question about why
Yeah.
the change in scale because we want to keep it within cost and we want to keep it within the nostalgia.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I think it does. You did a smart thing by for a few reasons. I mean, most importantly is like you said, if you were to make these figures 6 inches, the costs for making vehicles at 1/12 scale would just be out of control. And also this, it's kind of like paying homage to the original toys that were pretty much this scale. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know your exact specs, but are your Machina figures? Let's say you want to take a vintage figure from a vintage figure and pop them in the Machina Bowling. Is that a possibility, or is there?
Yeah, definitely possible. Definitely.
Oh, great, great, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it pays homage to the original scale. I love 3 inch and 3 3/4. I think it's like the purest like form of action figures because that's what we grew up with when we were kids. So I like when this happens. Dante, did you want to ask him something or read some questions?
I did have I have a question. And I was just kind of curious on my end. So, since you're in China, is it easier for you? I guess with the speak since you're with the. Hold on, let me try and figure this out. So, is it easier for you like to have something like kind of go back and forth with the factory than it is with kind of like the U.S. Like if somebody was getting something made over, like they were working over here in the U.S. and they were trying to get their figure everything made over there over in China in the factory. Like, is it easier for you to just communicate back and forth and just be like, hey, this is what I need, this is what I kind of need done, and is a little bit cheaper for you since you're doing it over there than having somebody like me, like say if I was making a figure and having it imported over here.
Mm,
Well, there's two parts to that question. The first part is whether is it easier for me? Yes, it is easier for me, but it's still not like Presto, right? It's
Right.
easier for me because I have Mandarin as my second language, but again, I'm not exceptionally fluent in the language of Mandarin, and there are certain vocabulary and words that I don't know, and I still struggle at times to convey my thoughts to the factory, which is why me being here on hand, face to face with the guy, I can actually, if I can't say it, I can gesture it out, and I can,
right.
show examples,
Right.
to say I want this, I want that, and then, 99% of the time they get it, which is good for me. In terms of cost, is a tool is a tool. Whether you tool it while you're in the US or whether you tool it when you are in China, the tooling cost is the same. I would say that the only difference is that if you have to travel from the US to China to look at the factory, then your traveling cost is more expensive than me staying here,
Mm,
having to do it this way.
mm,
And then to develop a little bit further on that first question is that most US companies or rather overseas companies, they have Chinese representatives that they work with to liaise with the factory. All right. So most of the time, you don't get a foreign language person, whether it's Spanish, whether it's French, trying to speak French to the factory guy who is Chinese, or trying to learn Mandarin to speak to the factory guy who is Chinese. But we have an intermediary who speaks the French language that communicates with the French person, and then the person, mostly a local, would then speak in Mandarin to the factory to try to get the message across.
Okay.
And this is obviously evident with the whole business of all these trading and stuff. So
mhm.
there's always like translators, even agencies like what we call the what's the word I'm looking for? Well, they're traders basically. They're a trading company
Mm.
that trades with the foreign entity and then makes stuff with the local factories. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, also, since you're there, like let's say something you need something revised. So, the paint app didn't come out too well, or the sculpt. You have the advantage of, like you said, being going face to face and saying and pointing it out. Whereas if
Yeah.
somebody was overseas, they'd have to send it to them to get it in hand, and then they would have to look
Yeah.
it over, and then they would have to send it back, and that alone like cuts down on schedule. So that I could totally see how that would work in your benefit, and it's a plus when you're making toys. So yeah, this you want
Yeah.
to read some
I would
questions?
like to liken it to a football team, if I
Okay.
may. Right. So if you have
Sure.
if you have good players on your team, you can get a better chance of winning. if you have not so good players in your team in terms of, I mean, the metaphor would be away and language, right? So if you have the whole thing all gelled up, there's a higher percent of success than otherwise.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right, that makes sense. We do have a question from Greg. It says, if you were to make the Red Gull wing and Legends off scale, what would you think the price range would be?
Wow. um. Well, I think Hasbro just recently did a his tank
Yeah.
on 1/12
Yes.
scale, and
Mhm.
that's
Oh, yes.
is
We're
it
going to be
300 US
talking about
dollars?
that.
Yeah.
Is it 300 US
300,
dollars?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
300, yeah.
I think
300.
it's around. I think ours would be maybe 400, for the
Oh,
reason that
wow.
because we always have a lower quantity than what Hasbro has, and whatever lower quantity that you have, your price ultimately goes up
Mhm.
double, right? Almost. Again, I like to draw comparisons with the third-party Transformers toys. And again, I'm not too sure about what the prices are today because I'm not really keeping track. But the prices as they were back in 2010, so this is 10 years ago, when I was buying the third-party Transformers, I always notice between the Voyager, let's say the Voyager is at 20 US dollars, the third-party guy is always at $40. All right, so it's always double. So
Mhm.
I'm just extrapolating and surmising on my own that most likely the quantity is half of what, half or even less of what Hasbro is doing.
Mhm.
So and I'm experiencing myself, right? I'm experiencing it myself right now. In fact, I was even asking the factory just 2 days ago. I said, hey, um, I'm sure you guys are in the industry. Do you know of other factories that's doing the McFarlane's, that's doing the NECA, not the Hasbro, not the really mass market, but the more niche collectible market?
Mhm.
So tell me, what do you think would be their numbers for them to be able to get the prices down to be like 30 US dollars, 40 US dollars, even
Mhm.
60 US dollars? And then they was just telling me it's just the quantity, right? They probably have about 10,000 pieces versus our 1,000 plus,
Mhm.
so that
Right.
it goes a long way, right? So I mean, if you I mean that there are reasons why Hasbro is $1 billion company. They have the reach, they have the distribution, but of course it's not about Hasbro. It's just talking about scalability.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because a lot of people always ask that question because it's always either Mattel makes like the WWE vehicles, and they're always like around like $40 or $50, and then you see like Hasbro do like a HasLab for a vehicle and it's $300, or Mattel like recently I just did a review on the RC Batmobile, which fits a 112 figure in there, and that one was only $100, and that's like an RC that just you can take out on the street and drive yourself. And I think that's where people always wonder, like, why is there so much of a price difference
Mhm.
and what one company does for a vehicle than another company that's doing a vehicle. And I think as collectors, we kind of like look at that like, well, if company A can do that, why can't company B do that? Now, you being a small company, I can understand, you know, the price has to be a little bit higher with that. So I think if you explain that, that makes it a little bit easier for, everybody to understand, like, okay, but then we still have to understand, like, well, why the big company, like, why is one big company charging less than the other big company?
No. Yeah. It's
Well, I
kind
don't
of.
think that's a question for me to answer, but I'll give my
Yeah.
take on it. Right. So it's very simple. I think that the term perceived value is an important term for us to understand. And the reason why I say this is because if you look at designer toys, designer vinyls, those designer vinyls are very, very limited quantities, right? And they are very expensive. But it doesn't mean it costs a lot more to make a designer vinyl, right? I have interactions with making vinyls and I know the cost, and there's no way this thing is selling for this much, right? But again, what costs you doesn't mean you have to put the selling price proportionally to what it costs you, right? There is obviously a perceived value that has to be there. Simple as that. Your branded goods, your Louis Vuitton, your Gucci. It doesn't cost $1,000 or $2,000 to be able to sell something at 10 grand, right?
Right.
So I mean, it's all there. In fact, everything in this world can be investigated. It can be explained. It's just that sometimes the truth hurts. You don't want to know the truth.
Right.
And I think that with that in mind, I think there is again this perceived value. As long as the company feels that they have a perceived value for their consumers, then they can actually raise the price as high as possible to have maximum profitability. I think this is what my opinion is. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a very valid thing.
Very well explained. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
can't go against it because I don't.
yeah. So so I'm assuming with the Machina line, since it's a slightly different line, it's a different scale. You're doing vehicles. Are you also taking the approach with this line that you are with the other two, where you're kind of wait and see what the reception is? You don't want to make more. You don't want to make less. I assume. So, where do you see this? How do you see this line moving forward in comparison to the other twos, or are they all just the same?
Well, I think at the moment, in terms of Facebook data, the Marshall and Machina is having the highest
Hmm.
hits, although the record holder is still the original 80s Commander video, which I put out
Oh
last
wow.
year.
Mhm.
Uh, that one has about, I think, more than 100 shares, but these two are still below 100 shares. And again, on the views, that one, the original has like maybe, I think, more than 20,000, and then these are all just hovering around 20,000. So again, these are all just numbers that you see from the social media platform. They did not actually mean anything. I always tell myself they don't really mean anything,
Mhm.
because if I have 20,000 views but I'm only making 1,000 plus, it doesn't make sense, right? But then again, there's a lot of large numbers. You don't always sell exactly to everybody, right? even
Right.
even in the sales business that I was before, right? I was a salesman selling insurance before I got into this
Mhm.
business.
A
And the
little
reason why
different, isn't it?
I failed in sales is how I got into this, right?
Yeah.
So when you prospect 100 people, doesn't mean you get 100 sales. You probably
Right.
get one out of 100. So yeah, how this line goes, again, everything has to be assessed. We have to take stock every now and then.
Mhm.
Even for the Apache Commander Retro series, I thought that there was a huge reception for the figure, the wanting of that figure. But when I did put it out, the reception was lukewarm.
Mm.
So everything again, like I mentioned in my stream last night. No, I'm not a perfectionist. I make mistakes. I don't always get it right, but I'm always there to assess what I've done and then what I can do better, and I'll do it better always. So
Mhm.
in terms of these two line, I'm just putting out these two first because number one of them has never been released, and the other is one of my favorite pieces. So I'm doing it and trying to make sure that it's done, and it does justice to this particular piece. And
Mhm.
then if there is a demand for me to explore the other vehicles and characters, then of course I will put my heart and soul to make it, because I'm not going to just do a half-hearted, haphazard thing just to put it out there for the money. I'm always going to devote 110%.
Mhm.
It's never going to be easy. Every project is never easy. It's never an easy one. The amount of effort that we put in to make the antagonist cyborg, what goes inside, right? How do we design the inside? How do we make it? How do we make the land drone more interesting than what we had before? Right? It doesn't make sense for the guy to lift up his bottom and then shoot a missile out. If he
Mhm.
only has one missile, then it's useless after disposing that missile, isn't it? So we change it into a cannon instead.
Mhm.
And for the vehicles, how do we make it realistic enough, and yet it still has the animation vibe to it? So
Right.
all these considered, it is it's a lot of brain cells burned, a lot of
Mhm.
inspiration that needs to be garnered. But yeah, that's the way I approach things.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's fun to think about that stuff, though.
Yeah, we got a couple questions here. White Mike Vegeta says, "How complicated is the mold? Is it more or less than like a shell of a Barbie car?"
I
Oh,
think.
well, a shell of a car is easy in a sense because it's only there's nothing underneath the car, and depending on how complicated your exterior is, if there's no undercuts, then it's pretty easy. If it's all smooth, the moment you have like undercuts, like a transformers, surface, then that tooling would not simply be maybe a two-piece tooling. It could be like a four-piece. You got to like do it, or even you need to have separate pieces that you add on later. So definitely, there is no hard and fast rule as to how difficult tooling is. Rather, it depends on what we are making.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
Well, the Machina car. I mean, since you're going to have transforming functions in a way, it's got to be more uh, uh, involved than just like a Barbie shell, a Barbie car shell. So,
Gotcha.
um,
Oh,
Greg Fenstead actually has a pretty good question. He says, "Ramen Toys, is there a line outside the '80s that you would love to make some figures of?"
I'm sorry.
Greg Fenstead says, "Is there a line outside the '80s that you would love to make some figures of?"
Oh, outside the '80s,
Mhm.
yeah, there's lots of stuff. I don't really have anything in mind right now, but
Mm.
definitely we're not just bounded by the '80s. That's for sure, right? The '80s is,
right.
is is a really golden era for us because that's when we were kids. The '90s were like teenagers, so the connection to the toys might have already started to have to have a chasm. But yeah, there are, and of course, as we progress to the 2000s, and then we saw the new stuff, and then we said, oh, these are new stuff. So there's definitely, we take it step by step, and nothing right now in my mind, but I might have to look back into what is going on back then, and then maybe that will refresh my memory.
Yeah.
Real quick before we go into the next question, I got one for Exo Squad. There's a three and three quarter inch line right there. Exo Squad would be awesome if you do that, because then you have like they were like Exo Squad was like that. Those good like those three quarter inch figures that were awesome because they had all the joints that move. You had the elbow, you had the knee joints, and you had their vehicles that they were in, and it's really small. I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. That's
I
that's
see.
the
I
You,
see
you
some
know what,
people saying
Dante?
humanoids too.
Okay, you know what, Dante? There is so many lines, and not every of the line is familiar for me because I may not have interacted with it as a child. I may not have
Mhm.
seen it, but I understand how it means a lot to the person and the collectors who actually like that particular line. So, in fact, I'm thinking of it this way, right? I'm trying to be innovative here. I'm trying to be, thinking out of the box, right? If there is a group of people that is so passionate about, for example, the EXO squad, they could probably find their own uh, circle of talents to create what they want, just as I did, right? So
Mhm.
there could
right.
be many different ramens that could pop
Mhm.
out in the near future, right?
Right.
And and
So
if
you tell me I
I
need to go make them. That's what you're
so
telling me. You like go
so
make your
uh so
toys that you got.
so no no so if I may, I could lend my assistance as I'm doing now. Actually, I'm actually exploring a few projects with some people. I told them that I don't particularly know what you want because I have not interacted with it. I can't do something that I don't know. That's
Right.
number one, right? I
Yeah,
wouldn't just do
makes
it for the
sense.
sake of doing it and make a mess out
Mhm.
of it, right? So I'm,
Mhm.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm telling them, so if you can round out a pool of people and if you can get something together, the concepts, how you want it to be, I can assist you to make it. That's what I can do in terms of my assistance for people who are requesting stuff. I might not do it myself per se, but if you have something in mind that we can look at, I could help you to assist to produce it. and then we can all be happy. Win-win situation.
Mhm.
All right, we'll talk later then about that. I got some ideas. Look, I
Yeah,
got the toys at my mom's house. They're ready to go.
yeah. I
Nick,
see. Go ahead.
what's up?
Don't think so.
Sorry, I was just. Nick says, any chance you guys will touch biker mice from Mars? Sorry if it's been asked.
I don't know about
Yeah, we
that.
get all these questions every day.
Yeah,
Most of the time, any chance we can do this and do that and do that. But I really appreciate all these interest and enthusiasm. But I must respectfully say that we don't have the bandwidth to do all these at the moment. And again, following my what I mentioned earlier, I don't have the expertise to relate to it, and I'm always open to do it. Want I want to fulfill your dreams as much as I have fulfilled mine, and I understand how important that is for someone. So I'm all for this. I'm all for doing what I can, the best that I can. And sometimes if I can't do it, then I'm just I'm sorry that I can't do it. That's it.
that's okay. You know, you look.
Yeah.
If you don't
It's
ask,
just,
you don't know.
Yeah.
yeah, it always happens. It's like when
Yeah.
collectors see something that they like the '80s Commanders and your SilverHawks and your Machina line. Their next train of thought is like, oh, what else can I get from the same? Oh, what, will he make this? Will he? For me, for example, when I saw your Machina line and the Matt Tracker car, I was like, oh, I used to own Boulder Hill. Is it possible that one day Ramen Toys is going to make Boulder Hill for all these action figures? And so it's just the mind of the collector, you know.
Yeah. Bruiser Brando asks, it says, I really hope we can get a Rex Charger.
I don't even know what that is.
Uh, he's
Okay.
he's part of
I
Mass, I
see,
think. Yeah, he's part of
yeah,
Mass.
I see suggestions for Captain Planet and Humanoid Division. It's all
Yeah.
over the place. Yeah.
Yes. Bruiser Brando also says, you're making such great stuff. Unfortunately, I have to be pretty selective on which ones I get. Just don't have the money for all of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is. That's actually something that I wanted to ask you. We keep saying on the show that this is kind of like a new golden age of toy collecting because there's new stuff coming out, but there's a lot of stuff being reinterpreted that's coming out from our childhood. So, I mean, I'm not saying the market is completely flooded, but how do you separate yourself from everything else that's kind of going on? How do you capture a collector's attention who might not have the capital to buy everything he wants?
Well, that's a very interesting and maybe difficult question to answer because I'm doing my best to put something as out that I think is the best possible rendition, and I hope that what the collector sees, he can relate. Because most importantly, you must relate and you must like it before you even consider buying it.
Mhm.
And in terms of the array of options that's available now, how does the maker convince the customer to buy? I'm not really in that zone. I don't really want to like I don't advertise at all, or
Mhm.
maybe I should. I don't know. When people say that you got to advertise. I mean, the whole idea of advertisement is in a sense to force sell, because if something, in my opinion, if it's that good, you don't even need to advertise it, and people will just buy it, right? But of course,
Right.
we're in the real world, and the real world requires advertisement, because even McDonald's and Coca-Cola are still advertising, because if you don't advertise, you forget, right? That's the
Mhm.
Yeah.
rule. So yeah,
Mhm.
I understand that completely. But then again, when you advertise again, I liken back to the same activity, the same subject.
Mhm.
What you see as a burger, the picture that they've taken, is not what you get, because it's all like propped up nicely.
Mhm.
It's not exactly what you get. So that
Mhm.
kind of advertising I'm not into. I'm not trying to convince people to get something that they otherwise wouldn't want to get, by enticing them with visuals that is spectacular but not actually on my thing. That's
Mhm.
why I mentioned that all my photographs are not Photoshop retouched so that it looks better than it should. It's
Mhm.
all there. If somebody would take the Silverhawk now and said, hey, it doesn't look like a picture, then I'll say, please put it against this black background. Please use this flash. Please use this setting and take a picture. You get exactly what you see, right?
Mhm.
So of course, you want to present the product as best as possible, and that's why I definitely want to wait until I get a nice environment to take the pictures. Otherwise, I don't really have the setup to do it. But I'm digressing.
Mhm.
So back to the main point. I feel that my product should speak to you by itself, not me trying to show you, oh, it has all this articulation, it has that, and you got to get this. Because when I actually look at toy reviews, I find it a little bit ticklish. Again, no disrespect, don't get me wrong. I find it ticklish that people are always reviewing the figure and showing how much articulation it has.
Mhm.
The knees bend up this way and then it goes back that way, but isn't it all like that,
Mhm.
right? Or if it doesn't bend this way or it doesn't go back enough, right? So I'm still learning in terms of my latest effort on the Quicksilver. We had been so focused on keeping the aesthetics in place that I must admit, we missed out on making it more articulated than it should be, right? Why do I say that? When you start cutting up the pieces, because articulation means you need to have gaps, right? There's no way
Mhm.
you can move something without a gap.
Mhm.
And this is not, we're not talking about the flaps of an airliner whereby everything is stored
Right,
out
right.
nice and
Mhm.
tight and then it can actually move, because these are like $1 million stuff, right? So
Mhm.
we're doing simple figures. So to achieve the articulation, you must have gaps. So I'm actually surprised when I look back at some of the already in market figures, how much gaps there are, which
Mhm.
in my opinion I wasn't gonna accept, because that really distorts the figure. But
Mhm.
then again, there's always a way to do it, and that's why I'm learning. So now looking back at my Quicksilver, there's definitely ways I could have made him more articulated, and I
Mhm.
hope to use this experience on the next project and make it more articulated. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I understand in that case where you're coming from with that, because I think as for somebody who like for those of us who like to take like a lot of photographs with the figure, um, example, I'm not sure if you're familiar with him as the Amazing. He does he puts the figures through a lot of poses. And for those of us who do like to put those figures in poses, I think that's why we always want more articulation to try to get them and like the most human pose. Like for years there was complaints of like, why can't Spider-Man pose in a certain way? Why can't he just do his like certain crouch? And like I said, and I nothing against you. I understand what you're saying, because then once you start putting more articulation in, and then you start losing like you're adding more spots where you're going to have to see a joint
Yeah.
sometime soon at that point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a, it's a fine balance. Sorry, it's a
Right.
fine balance between a certain form. For example, if I may use the example of a transforming
Mhm.
Macross Batroid. So
Mhm.
it's a fighter, it's a girl walk, it's a Batroid, right? But
Right.
it will only look best in one mode. Although the engineering and technologies have advanced so much in today's context that you can have something that looks really nice in both modes. So I really kudos to these genius minds of engineering, where you can get an actual, like, looking like a G1 Optimus Prime in the
Mhm.
cartoon, that like no way this guy's going to transform, but they transform it into the cap. So definitely that's another higher level, which I hope to achieve one day, in terms of the articulation of my figures. Like I said, I'm still learning. I'm in this. Before I wasn't doing articulation figures. I was just doing static statues and figures and models. This thing is something new for me, but I think that I have the background to allow me to at least develop a decent figure, and from a decent figure, we hope to move on to make spectacular figures.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's all. That's,
yeah.
that's sorry. Go ahead, Alex.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, off the bat, like I said, we were all pretty impressed with the stuff that you showed off, 80s Commanders and SilverHawks. So, yeah, I mean, it also depends on what kind of collector you are. Like Dante, like he said, he's an articulation kind of guy. whereas I prefer like the aesthetics over it. Like I look at the paint apps and the likeness or the sculpting, that kind of stuff. So you take the good with the bad. So just everyone's a little bit different, you know.
Yeah. We did have one other question. When you lose asked, Ace, what are your favorite toy franchises growing up?
Oh,
Well, you mentioned He-Man.
Yeah.
He-Man, Mask, um, favorite, yeah, Mask, Centurions, Macross,
Oh yes.
Robotech,
So, man,
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
I love Robotech. I remember when they were coming back out with it on DVD, like back in I want to say like the early 2000s. I was just like, oh, I was like yes, and I wanted
Oh,
the
and
giant
Star and
robots.
Starcom, sorry.
I was like, no, no. Oh, I always wanted the giant ship that turned into the robot. I was like, yes. I was like,
Yeah,
this
the
is cool.
SDF one.
Yes, thank you. I couldn't remember the name of it, but I thought that was so awesome. I was like, yo, this is like Voltron plus 10.
Mhm. Yeah. So, Ace, I know it's pretty late over there,
No, it's
and
actually it's morning. Yeah,
oh,
Oh, it's
pretty
more.
more. Well,
Okay.
yeah,
you must
morning.
be
Yeah,
tired because I know
yeah,
you had some interviews before, and
right.
in between you were busy. So, we don't want to keep you too much longer. So,
Yes.
if you could tell us what is the best place for us to reach you and your social media and look at all the stuff that you have coming out and get some more info on Ramen Toys.
Yeah, so you can go to our website, which is www.ramentoy, no S, right? Ramentoy.com, and that's our website. You can go reach us from the contact us page. Otherwise, if you have a Facebook account, you can go to Facebook/ramentoy. And if you have Instagram, we are on IG_ramentoy. Those are the basic stuff that we have, and of course, our YouTube channel is a very small channel, less than 1,000 subscribers. I've been so busy that I haven't been putting up content. So yeah, we hope to grow that channel as well. Maybe get some more videos of our figures, maybe some behind the scenes stuff. But it takes time, and currently my time is very much devoted to the actual development of all these things. So yeah, I'm doing the development. I'm doing the photo taking of the prototypes. I'm doing the photo taking of the final production piece. There is no respite. It's everything one after the other. We're now looking at making the Machina helmet. We're looking at making the next prototype. So yeah, everything is it's just so much going on. But
Mhm.
yeah,
Well,
Uh,
hopefully you're having fun while you're doing all this still.
oh
oh
definitely,
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
And then Ace, look, if you want to go ahead and send those prototypes over to me, I'll help you take the pictures of them. You know,
He's
you
always
got a
fun.
friend, yeah. Look, just so you know, just say,
Yep, yep.
I'll throw it out there, throw my
All right.
name in the hat. Like
Yeah.
I'll take
Okay.
some footage. I'll take some of that baggage off your shoulders, sir.
Okay.
Well,
But thank
hey,
you, Ace. I appreciate you coming on and hanging with us. It was awesome. It's great to hear about everything. And as we're talking right now, I'm ordering my Quicksilver.
you're ordering your
Yeah,
Quicksilver.
thanks, Dante. It was really very nice speaking with you, and of course, Alex for reaching out to me. You guys
Yes.
are brilliant. Fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
And
thank you so much.
thank you and
Thank
continued
you. I
success with
appreciate
Ramen
it.
Toys and everything that you have going on.
Yes. Yeah, 'cause I've seen great things from you already, and I'm hoping for more great things from you in the future.
Yep, definitely.
Okay, take care, my friend.
But
All right,
thank
thank you.
you, and
Bye.
Good day.
have a good day.
All right,
Yeah.
see you
All right.
soon. Take
See
care.
ya.
Bye.
Bye.
That was an
Man, that was
interesting
exciting.
combo. Yeah. It was like
Yes.
a deep dive into the business of making toys, something that we don't get to really talk to somebody on the other side of the fence or the wall too often. So that was very insightful.
Yes, it was. I enjoyed every minute of it. Oh man, it was so awesome. Awesome, awesome. Greg says Dante could even get Jay Hernandez to check out things. He's a figure posing guy. That is true.
You
I, that is
People
true.
love, like, you know what's cool about Jay is like he kind of just does his pose,
Yeah,
and it was like you can just see it. It's like you don't have to have like a whole bunch of background stuff and all this crazy stuff going on beside it. But yeah,
exactly.
don't send it to Jay though. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
please,
You don't say
send it
you
to
don't even say
Dante.
to me. Don't just
Yeah,
don't worry about Jay. Jay got Jay good. Jay
you got
good.
it.
He make it bank. Man. All right, so real quick, before we move into everything else, I want to send thank you to Brian Wallen. Appreciate it very much. He sent me a package. I had to keep quiet for this for a long time, and I was
Really?
mad because I had to keep quiet for it for a long time.
How long is a long time?
When did you first hear about it? The honey badger.
When he asked me to draw the box art.
What was that about? What, a year ago? 2 years? A year and a half ago?
Oh, man, I think Bobby might have still been on the show.
Yeah, it had to be after Joe
So
Fest.
I can't remember. It was a while. It was definitely last year, I think,
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
yeah. So it's almost been like a year. So almost a year.
Wow, a year. Okay.
Yeah. When he asked me about it, I was like, "Yo, that's cool. That's great." I was for it. I was with it. He said Alex is doing the box art. Um, so I received today my honey badger
Yeah,
with Alex's art on it.
yeah.
That was cool piece number one. The cool piece I had to keep quiet about was I'm on the box.
Yeah. You told me that.
Brian reached out to me and asked me. He said, "Can I use your face on the box?" I said, I started almost tearing up at that moment because I was like,
Yeah.
I'll never see my face on the box, and I get to see my face on a box. So
Yeah.
I'll try zooming in here for you folks so you can
Yeah,
see it.
that's Dante driving the honey badger.
I am driving the honey badger. Uh, I'm going to do a full review on it, but Brian, you outdid yourself.
Mm.
Amazing, uh, just amazing work. Uh, I wish you mostly all success. No, I'm not even mostly. I wish you all
Mostly.
the success. I wish you all the success. I know. I worded that so poorly, so poorly.
Brian said it was back in December.
December. Okay, so it's December.
Mm.
Uh, then also, uh, this is from Brian. Taking orders starting tonight. 95.99 shipped to your door. Unfortunately, Facebook. Oh man.
What about Facebook?
It says, unfortunately, Facebook has been slow to approve the shop, so we are doing sale receipts via private messaging and Square invoices.
Mm.
Okay, so I guess Facebook is slow approving the shop to order it.
Mm.
But yes, you know what? I stand behind companies. Honey Badger is a company I put my stamp of approval on for y'all. So go support somebody who is doing it very well, making you vehicles, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Vehicles!
Yeah.
And got some more in store. Got some desert one. There's a desert tan, and Brian, I can't find the post where the other color was. I think it was desert tan, and there's another color. Uh, duh, 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 duh. Oh, desert tan, and urban gray.
Mm.
But thank you very much. I can't wait to do a review and open it. Uh, man, it's just super awesome. Thank you, Brian. I love you too. Thank you. My wife she's like, "That's you on the box." I was like, "Yeah, baby, that's me on the box. Me driving my honey badger all over everybody."
Dante, I actually hate to break it to you. That's not you on the box. It's Ray Allen.
Good night, folks. The show's over.
Hey, man, you called me sexy way too many times. So
I know that's what the payback is about. It's all right. Still got nothing but love for you, Alex.
Hmm. Yeah, he says Urban Gray.
Yes. Oh man. What's my
Bart
code
wants to know
name?
what's your
Oh
code name.
man. Just call me the
Hmm.
Joker. I just go with the Joker.
Yeah.
Keep everything in line with my. So for those who don't know, And I think I told the story before. Dark Joker's in comes from my gamer tag. That's my gamer tag across all systems, basically. PlayStation, Xbox. No, Bart, it's not sexual chocolate. That's Mark Henry.
That is Mark Henry.
It's time for enough talk. Let's take the action to the ring. Is that what you want, Bart? But my gamer tag just comes. It just comes from my gamer tag. So Dart, me being Dart. Joker, because I like to joke around, and Zen is from PS2 game Maximo versus the Army of Zen.
So your codename would be Dark Joker's in, you said?
No, my codename would just be Joker. We'll send Joker in.
How about just Joker's in? Because there's a lot of Jokers out there.
That is true. You know, if I did, so I guess yeah, that is true. Let's just say Dark Joker.
Okay.
We'll say Dark Joker is the code name. Yeah. There you go, Bart. So Dark Joker would be my code name. Greg said your dial box puts a certain failed consumer funded item, a failed consumer item funded to shame.
What is he talking about?
He's talking about his tank.
Wait, failed consumer item? It's not. It didn't fail. I think you're talking about something else.
Yeah, maybe.
Because his tank, I think, got funded in like 1 day.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
All right, so are we doing this? Are we getting into the news now?
Yes. So this week there was.
Sorry.
What's that?
He was talking about the Rancor.
Oh, me. Yeah, the Rancor is still stuck in his cage. Jamie Lynn says, I came in late. How do we find more info on the honey badger? Well, so Brian said you can. Where's that? If you go to the Facebook page, Honey Badger Toys, Brian will have information on there. But he said he's taking orders tonight. It's $95.99 to ship to your door. And he's doing sell receipts via private message and Square invoices. So, the box is dial. Okay, thank you, Brian, because I would have forgot all about that. Thank you for telling me that. But yeah, definitely go out and support them. Go out and support Ramen Toys. Ramen Toy, I should say, not toys. I keep putting the ad that's on there. Ramen Toy.
I do too. Sorry.
What's that?
I said I did too.
Yeah, I'm thinking like it's Ramen Toys, but it's Ramen Toy. That's what it should be. Yeah. Yeah, definitely go out and support them. Support, for the creators out here, because the creators are doing it up.
Yeah.
3D printers changing a lot of the game, as you see. With my man Diamond Art, he's doing amazing work. If you have a 3D printer, I suggest getting with his Patreon and supporting him as well. He's doing like fantastic work for Head Sculpts, working with other creators. The last one he came up was with the shooting range, and then he also came out with he worked with somebody else on a computer desk that has like all the monitors and everything that you can have up there. So yeah, creators are just doing it up. All right. This week, well, actually, was it today? Yeah, today, Batman Superman Super Sons preview came out from DC Animated. Looks very well done. A lot of people are not too hip with the animation.
Oh, I didn't see it. Is it like the previous kind of Batman animation stuff? Like,
no, it's like a little bit CGI, like how some of the new animes are going.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's like kind of it's not as bad, but it's how some of the new animes are going with that full CGI character, and it's like almost kind of drawn but animated world. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, it's not bad.
I seen it in reverse, like on Transformers. I forget what the it was like the Unicron Saga series. There were like 3 different ones where the characters were 2D drawn, but the robots and some of the backgrounds, if not most of the backgrounds, were 3D rendered. So
yeah,
it's great that they did it.
It's
backwards.
I might not be explaining. Like if you've seen like the new Berserk anime series,
I have not.
it kind of looks like that. Yeah,
Hmm.
I was just like watch one episode of it, and then that's what you're kind of looking at.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's what kind of, but it doesn't look too bad. It's not like it's over. Like it's gonna hurt you if you watch it. Like it's gonna take you out of it. Um, but yeah, it looks pretty decent. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna check it out. You know, on Plex when it comes out.
Mhm.
Watch it for free.
Yeah. What's up, Logic Blaster?
Hey,
Just
Logic Blast, how you doing? Master Son. Too many live streams at the same time. What's up, guys?
ah, well, you missed a pretty good interview with
Yeah,
Ace from Ramen Toy. Master Sam, you
yes,
should go back and check it out when you
definitely.
get a chance.
No, we have not talked about the his tank yet. I know that. I know. Whew, I have my thoughts about it.
Well, let's dive into it. What are your thoughts?
All right, so let me bring it up here.
I literally saw this thing after the fact, after it was funded, after all the hullabaloo, and so I don't know what the gripes were. Although I think I did hear that it's undersized. If it were to be true,
I don't.
112
I
scale.
don't know. Yeah, because look, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I know anything about GI Joe. I know I
Uh,
like some of like the main cast, and that's about it. Snow Job,
yeah,
I know about. You know, Shipwreck, Bazooka, the fridge. I remember the fridge.
yeah, the figure, the
Yeah,
refrigerator Perry. Yeah.
yeah, Slaughter, Zartan. Like those are the ones that the main people who always showed up like almost week in and week out.
Mhm.
Uh, so I don't know if it's undersized. I
I
don't know about
think,
all the Cobra people that are here, the henchmen.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think in comparison to the 3 3/4 his tank and the, I think what I meant is like in the real world, I think it would be a bit bigger, but maybe if you
Right.
compare it to the vintage line, um, it is proportionately sized for the classified. So I don't know. Maybe people in the chat can let us know if they think it's too small or it's just the right size.
Um,
But
Dom says
anyways, I'm
I like
sorry.
the size of
What
it.
were you thinking? Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Don says I like the size of it. I can get. I can't get something too big. This seems manageable. Pokey says it's almost 11 inches tall and 19 inches long. I'm curious how heavy it's going to be. Logic Blaster says a standalone vehicle, standalone vehicle and 112 scale. Nah, that's not how GI Joe vehicles are supposed to work. Very
When
true.
yeah.
That's everything that you're getting with this first. So, I don't care about Cobra Command. He's got to say. All right, so it's a 6-inch vehicle, a 6-inch scale. Sorry, get a Cobra his size speed Century vehicle in 6-inch scale. So the figure is 6 inches, 19 inches, 10.96 inches tall, 10 inches wide. Uh, let's see.
This Yeah, this
Hey,
this seems to be like the big catch with this, like the big selling point is the LED stuff that's going on,
right.
um, and also the back opens up, which wasn't possible with the original, and even like the 25th anniversary his tanks and stuff that he came out with, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
okay. Yes.
Yeah,
See, I
so we
didn't
got
know.
light up headlights, a light up cockpit. It projects the Cobra signal. I don't know why it would
Yeah.
do that. Um,
To
but
tell him like Cobra.
sure, I mean, but don't they know? Why would Cobra want to announce to anybody that they're coming or that they're Cobra? And why would they want to
Um,
announce
why wouldn't you want to announce it? Come on now.
I don't
Like I want to announce I'm coming. Like, hey, I'm coming.
know. That's
That's what
cool
she
though.
said.
Light up dashboard. I
Yeah.
believe that's a light up dashboard.
Yes. Light up dashboard. Uh, I'm just like this. Yo, you if you get into an accident in this, like you're strapping for life. Like look at that. That's a good strap. Like that's a racing strapping right there. You're strapped in. Um, you see, I didn't see this side before,
Mm.
like because I didn't know it was like. So this looks like there's a seat here, and I don't know. It looks like a weapons rack here. So it looks
No
like you fit
weapons
one
rack.
of the
That's what I
field.
thought. Yeah.
So maybe like you can fit one more in there, maybe two figures in there because you got the turret
Mm.
that you're on top of. So one figure on the inside, sitting down. So three figures, and then you
Okay.
get
His team
Mars.
driver. I believe, Mars Industries Future. I don't know what that means.
Which one?
It said Mars Industries features. I don't know what they mean by that. I think that just means
Oh,
the Belgian.
I guess just because of the company, they called it I guess they called it Mars. From the one episode I watched,
Oh
that's the
yeah.
only reason why I know. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I think that wasn't it. See, I watched the episode where Sergeant Slaughter came over to help and get them all in shape. That was right before. It was like the episode leading up to what's his face coming. Serpentor.
Serpentor. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you, Dom. Mars was Destro's company.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I don't remember that. I remember Extensive Enterprises, which was the Tomax and Zamox company, and I did not remember Mars.
Yeah.
But people in the chat seem to be fine with the size. Maybe it's just
Yeah.
me. Um,
Oh, Grace
Greg
is five
says,
figures.
yeah, 5 figures if you include standing on the back bumper, which the original,
Guess yeah.
you could fit one or two in the back bumper. All right. Well, I mean, people must like this thing because it funded in like 9 hours. So, oh, that
And
missile
then
attachment was pretty cool.
yeah. So first unlock, which was the missile attachment, and then the second unlock, which I guess okay, maybe it's not showing here, but the second unlock was I think the canopy, if
Mm.
I'm not mistaken. Let me double check here. Cobra.
Oh, they re-released the movie G.I. Joe,
Yep.
the animated movie in theaters last year.
Yeah. Yeah, Phantom Films, but Phantom was having some issues because people were mad when they went to go see the thing re-released by Phantom.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was not. They said it was just horrible watching it, and it was the
Really,
way that it was sent out to the movie theaters.
I like the aspect ratio was wrong
Yeah,
or
the aspect
something.
ratio was messed up. The way it looked, it didn't look cleaned
Wow,
up. Yeah, they
wow.
said it was just a horrible experience.
Oh, geez. So stay at home and watch your Blu-rays or
There
DVD.
you go. Second tier was a clear canopy and the side cover for
Oh,
what is it, tracks.
the treads or not the treads,
Yep, the tracks. Thank you.
the wheels or whatever the hell they're called.
Oh, my son said I think they went back on the canopy and saw they were getting roasted. Now they added another figure to appease people.
Mm.
Did they add another figure? Because I know you were only getting a second figure if it got funded before Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. and you you picked the colors of
Mm.
the like the original Ron Rudat colors that they said you can choose from. So they gave the colors here. You got black, purple, blue. I guess like a black and
Ah,
red.
yeah.
So like his kind of like his concept art figure.
Mm.
Yeah.
That sounds.
So since it made it past that,
Mhm.
now we get this figure fit. Uh,
Yeah, it's just the three. The his is funded. Master Son says that his is funded. The extra
yeah,
figure, and the missile system is funded.
So we get the
Mhm.
extra figure. Oh
Early
wow, I
bird,
didn't see. Yo,
your call
that's not.
options.
Yeah, these are some nice little colors. I thought they were gonna be some whack colors, but no, these are not bad.
Not bad, yeah. They're all Cobra colors.
Yeah, I like the all black. I like this black and gray kind of look. I guess this is kind of gray, or it might be black.
Yeah, it's great. Grayish.
That That one or this one, I would go with.
Does that have rear shin pads and boots?
I was thinking the same thing.
It looks like
I
almost translucent, like lower legs.
yeah, like this one, I probably be more inclined with this one. But I know people go if people vote for this ugly purple. Mm.
Dom, I think, said he likes it because it looks like a techno viper. So.
Come on, Dom, I had you on the show, sir. You know what, Dom? You're revoked now. Thought we were friends, Dom. I thought we were friends. My son says the fact that they won't show the other tiers is suspect. On the Sky Striker, they showed them all and went crazy for it. For this, I want it, but I'm not buying it until I see more tiers.
Hmm.
Brian said thigh highs. Oh yeah, Greg. You know what? I didn't think about Python patrol colors that they might have slipped in there. Oh, Omega Weapons saying it's black and silver.
Black and silver. Okay.
Uh, Dom saying that his tank can be renamed Purple Rain. I'm done with you. I'm done with you, Dom. Done with you. So I'm gonna put it like
Yeah, we never got to your.
we are getting a vehicle.
Okay.
We are getting a vehicle, and I understand. It's 300. Because how much was a Sky Striker last night? The last time?
Wasn't it 250?
Last week. 250.
Was it? I could be wrong. Someone correct me, but I think.
Actually, no, I think I can go back here and look it up.
In Logic Blaster, it says the notion of a 6-inch scale line of GI Joe vehicles is probably not going to happen. What is the point of having one vehicle for a toy line? Well, I think the smaller vehicles, like the ones that come, like the smaller package ones that came with figures, I think those they've already started dipping their toes in that kind of stuff with the Ram cycle, or whatever the hell it's called, that they released it 3 times already. I think those kind of size vehicles are definitely possible. But if you're talking about, if you want a Night Raven or something like that in 112 scale, that's probably not going to happen. Most likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trouble Bubbles.
Oh, Brian's saying
is another
it was 225. Yeah, it's Trouble and small vehicles. Yeah, it was 225.
Trouble Bubbles.
So, yeah. Or 225. I don't know. My thing is this. I understand we clamor for vehicles. We wanted vehicles, and this is why I say, like, I did back it. I did get one.
You got a his
but
tank?
Now that, yes, I did get a his tank. I did
back a word? I didn't know that. Okay.
But now I see what the problem. Now I finally come into the problem that we talked about for so long. Have all these vehicles, and I have nowhere to put them.
Right.
That now run into that issue. Now I've run into that issue because I do have the Buzz Lightyear ships. Do have the WWE Slambulance. I do have the WWE no, Slambulance. I need that. It's a good prop thing. I had a WWE Corvette. Like I had the Batmobile now. And then I went to my mom's house. I found Batman the Animated Series original Batmobile.
Okay.
And then I found my 3 Batwings.
Okay.
So
you're out of real estate.
What's that?
You're out of real estate, is what you're saying.
Basically, well, at least the Batman Robin Batwing the wings can fold in. Mm-hmm. That's the nice thing about that. And then I had the I found my Batman the Animated Series Batwing. and then I found my original Batman Batwing with the handle on it and the gripping claw in the front.
Oh yeah, I had
Yeah,
that.
that's now it just now it's coming like, Dad. Now I found these old ones. Yeah, now I might be running out of room because I can't put it in the Detolf with the Cobra Troopers, because I have to split everybody up because it's going to be so big. It's going to take up most of the retail space in there. I I did it, and it wasn't because of like a fear of missing out. I did it because I wanted to. Uh, um, and I can understand it was reserves on it. It's one vehicle. Why can't they make more vehicles? Which is true. But you already see what happens when we get one vehicle from them. They rehashed it 3 times already.
Yeah, and the one that Hasbro kind of seems to go back to is the Tie Fighter from the Black Series, and how people were clamoring for a Tie Fighter or a Star Wars vehicle, and 1/12 scale when it came out. It wasn't what people expected, and it sat on the shelves forever. And it seems
Yeah.
like they've been hesitant to make a vehicle that size and kind of stick to just the smaller stuff that we mentioned, like the trouble bubbles and all that stuff. So,
But
um,
sorry,
but
real quick, I just want to know the one difference between this GI Joe, which they could do this with no problem. They wouldn't lose any money because it's their property.
right, right. But Bobby would also probably say that GI Joe doesn't hold numbers in Star Wars, does he?
True. The
So,
only other thing, and the thing is like, look how fast this funded, better than the Star Wars last two stuff funded. Rancor failed. I know
yeah.
I'm not saying this from a perspective. The Rancor failed. Reva's the third sister lightsaber is not moving that well.
Oh, really? I haven't checked up on it, but
No, like I could pull
oh,
it up right now, and we can see it's it's look at that, 1,300 backers,
yeah, it's
10 days
500 bucks. How much was a
exactly.
Rancor for something?
I think Rancor was like 350.
350. Well, there was some shenanigans, at least in the eyes of the collectors, that they thought was going on with the Rancor. In other words, they didn't think that the extras were enough to justify the cost. So
Right.
I think that had a lot to play into it. Um, Whereas I think, like,
Look at this. Like you
go ahead.
have yes lightsaber. I'm just saying like you have a Force Effects lightsaber that's not even moving.
Yeah.
Now the
Oh,
Ghostbuster background pack
yeah.
sold. That was sold like hotcakes because people were like, "Yo, I need that for my cosplay." You would think,
Right,
hey,
right. Yeah.
this I can use for cosplay. They're not even thinking about this as a cosplay item. They're just like, "Yo, I can go to probably Disney World and build that lightsaber probably." Or
Mm,
people like me, I can just go ahead and print that lightsaber and be done and put the
mm,
electronics in it if I wanted to.
mm.
We got a super chat from
Yeah.
Master Sun. Thank you very much. Tier 4 of the his tank is going to be the Cobra Rancor monster.
Yeah. Is it just me, or I've never collected Force Effects lightsabers, but I seem to remember that they used to be a lot cheaper than 500 bucks. I mean, I understand this is a double bladed. It's got
they
the thing,
they
the
were.
circle thing going, but I mean, I think the prices have gone way high since the last time I checked.
I don't see. I think they once again they didn't hit the mark with what they were HasLabbing. I think they go by what everybody else is doing,
Mm,
and which is it's the sad part about it. They say, hey, well, if as the Marvel Legends team can sell and Transformers can sell these big figures, then we can sell a big figure too. Everybody wants a Rancor. Let's do a Rancor. We oh man, we messed up. Like we didn't give it the right stuff. Okay, add more onto it. Oh, people don't want that. People ain't happy. No, no, no. Add more onto it. Oh, cardboard. Oh, they really feisty now. They really now numbers are dropping. Now they're just backing out of this before they can even end. Then you see like G.I. Joe says, "Hey, we got 3 3/4 inch Sky Striker going." They're like, "Oh man, let me go ahead and do that." Power up. Let me get all the levels. They're like, "Oh, proton pack from Ghostbusters, authentic." Power up. I ain't got to make my own proton pack. Let me go ahead and get that.
No. It seems the guys in the chat have a few different reasons why they think this lightsaber isn't pulling good numbers. Brian Rowland says lightsaber shouldn't be $500. The third sister, Master Sen says the third sister is not a popular character.
Yeah.
Greg says Black Series lightsabers are already retail in online stores. This saber shouldn't be HasLab, and Dom pretty much echoes his sentiments.
Yeah, it's something that you can get, and that's the sad part about it. You can either get it at Disney World, or you can get it at the store, or
You
at
could even
GameStop
get
when it's discounted down.
You could even get like third party / customizers that make their
Exactly.
for this price actually, and probably has some other features in it. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
like
not interested anyway.
I think they just went the wrong way with their HasLab once again. Like they last year, they would have had a banger. Rancor, people wanted that Rancor. But you threw in a piece of cardboard that all of us could have
Bones.
made and some 3D printed bones. Like, people weren't having it. Jamelin says, don't forget there were like 5 overlapping HasLabs in the last 5 months of the last year. Yeah. But you see, like, the only one who didn't make it was the Star Wars team, the Black Series team. They didn't make it. They were like, oh, well, how did everybody else do? How did everybody else do it? Well, why we can't set us? Like, they had. So what? So it's been like 2 unsuccessful: the Cookie Monster and that Rancor. I have 2 unsuccessful HasLabs
Are
that
those
have
the
not
only
back.
two? No, there was wasn't there another one?
No, I think
No, those
it
are the
was
only two.
only a victory. Look, Victory Saber went through. Everybody that set. See that Cookie Monster and this big.
Hmm.
Even Hero Quest game went through. Come on now. Come on. Like your last you had your HasLab, you have a 3 3/4 inch Razor Crest and the bar went through. And you couldn't get this right here. Yeah, and I think it was like the add-on effects was drool. Like, come on. Come on. That should Yeah.
Yep.
And Logic Blast is right. HasLab is a hit and miss, and that's the reality of it. Master says the worst part, they not learn from the Rancor incident. They still throwing BS out there. Tread covers. Tread covers get They need to add the ASP or missile system, and I guarantee those tiers will be met.
Hmm.
It's crazy. Even without having stuff even on there, busted. The first day meeting the goal. And that was not
Well,
that wasn't even adding any tiers on there. Nobody knew what the tiers were, and it was back before like the day was over.
hmm.
That's the crazy part about it. But remember, I think what it is too is folks like G.I. Joe collectors want a vehicle. The hardcore, I don't know. I can't say for sure like how many hardcore G.I. Joe fans are out there, but they were like, I'm doing this. Some people are buying 2, some people are buying 3, some people are just buying 1. That's cool. But they're just like, yo, I got to have this. Because I made and the funny part right here they say in their mind, like, we probably won't see this again if we don't back it. And unfortunately that's a sad reality that we think as, because if we don't back it, then they'll say, you all want the vehicles, we offered you a vehicle, now you didn't want to back it.
Hmm.
And then we'll come back and say, well, you kept giving us the same motorcycle 3 times already. Like, okay.
Hmm.
So, it. I don't know. White Mike Vegeta with the super chat. Thank you. Says I want a SMS mobile missile system to and Techno Viper his tank. Yeah, they got that in. But you know what? I did back it. I'll see how it goes. I did was say I did see Colossal Customs. Also, his what he said too. Uh, yeah, I can say that around space with figures.
Hmm.
But yeah, but vehicles take up much more space than figures. At least the figures I can kind of stuff in somewhere. I can, if I just got too many, I can put them in a drawer. You know, vehicles you can't just put in a drawer. You gotta put in like a full container. You gotta buy a container, put them in a box, and then put them in the attic or in the garage. And then you forget that they're in there half time. So yeah, I understand what you guys say. All right, moving on. AIC podcast broke some news today saying Diamond Select has long offered the best of all worlds, but there's one which they have never ventured into: the world of professional wrestling. Diamond
No.
Select is going all elite,
Hmm.
bringing the world class talent of all elite wrestling together in a new line of club. This summer, Diamond Select will offer a variety of products based on the stars of AEW, including CM Punk, Sting, Chris Jericho, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, John Moxley, and many more. Categories include 2-inch Mini-Mates posable figures, 4-inch Mini-Mates vinyl figures, and 10-inch gallery diorama PVC sculptures, and an 11-inch Premier collection.
So no 6-inch, 7-inch. Well, they do like 7-inch figures.
Yeah,
Right?
so if they do, so it would just be like 7-inch. Yeah, it'd just be 7-inch regular figures.
Oh, okay. All right.
They don't do 6-inch figures. But Dom says that they have pictures of them on Twitter. So let's see. Oh, here they go. Here they're Mini-Mates. Look
Yeah.
at my eyes. What
That's
you
when they tagged up.
see? Yeah. So these are the Mini Mates. I want the Mini Mates. I'll probably wait for the Mini Mates to come out and get them. Oh, sorry. I did not see super chat. Sorry, Robert. Robert Diaz with super chat says we all know Riva's lifesaver will make it. Just watch the last minute. Shoppers flock to it. Yeah, that is true. It may make it within the last. It's got 10 days left, so I didn't know they made Vinny Mates. I don't know what size these are. Let's see. 7-inch figures we are not mentioned. 7% were man. Yeah, I don't know what size these are.
Hmm.
But they look good. They look like upscale mini mates.
Yeah.
Klaus goes, the fuck you can't. I'm making more custom vehicles than ever. They're just piled up anywhere that they can fit.
Ah,
Yeah, I'm not do all that. I'm not trying to live everywhere in the house. I'm like, yeah, like a vehicle over there, vehicles everywhere. Like
hmm.
Dr. Seuss. Thanks to Ewan putting this up. Thank you, Ewan. Super 7 is in their Ultimate Wave 3 line with Mr. Burns. Oh, boo boo. His bear boo boo.
Yeah.
They don't have. Wait a minute.
Are
They don't
you
have the.
getting any of these Simpsons? I know you're a big Simpsons fan.
No, I'm not. I am not.
Did you ever collect any Simpsons figures?
No, I didn't. I didn't enjoy the show. I didn't need the figures. I just enjoyed the show.
Hmm.
Then we got my boy Ralph Wiggum.
Oh,
I choose you. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm surprised they have Mr. Burns with like the Clint. You know why? Because his arms probably can't go that way.
he didn't come with what?
Excellent. His
Oh,
excellent hands, like excellent. I guess that's what these hands are for, right here, the
yeah,
middle
yeah,
pair.
yeah. Uh-huh.
But I don't know. I'm just glad to get him boo boo.
Boo
All
Boo,
right.
that's what we call it, the bear.
Yep. Yep. So then we got some Hot Toys Purge Trooper Phase 2 armor.
Yeah,
Alex's World.
yeah, this looks
Alex
good.
in a
Is
1/6
this from
shooter
Obi
armor.
Wan? Right? Yeah, right. Yeah, it's from Obi Wan.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the one of
Yes.
the troopers that shut up the place in that one. Anyways, yeah. Man, I think I'm gonna kind of like pull it back on like the stormtroopers and the troopers because I'm not sure if I'm gonna get this just because there's so much stuff coming out that I just can't get it all. But
All right.
it looks cool, man. Especially the red visor helmet thingy.
Yeah, he looks good. He looks real good for Alex's collection.
Yeah, I'm cleaning my
And
my module cases today because there's been moths coming out of somewhere. They're not in the module cases, but they're all around it. And then I pulled them out, and I found where all the moths were. Like a massacre town. My hot toys are saved.
oh, sorry. Thank you.
Oh, that's cool.
He said there's more. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah,
Kang and
man.
Kodos.
It's
So
funny.
there's more. There's Kang, Kodos. Add to your collection. Ewan.
If you smell.
Hold on. Where is that?
It's Mike Diodato Spider-Man, right? Is it?
What's that?
Is that Mike Diodato
It's,
Spider-Man pick?
uh,
Drawing?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's from that cover. From his cover. Hold on. And I told. You weren't here. I don't think you were here for it, Alex. When I
For
said
what?
what I say about McFarlane figures now. That I
Well, I mean,
got, see this? See?
mm.
Don't make me tap that sign. Don't make me tap that sign. There we go. But we got the Rock, Black Adam figure showing up. We got Hawkman. I mean, it's not much to these characters. Dr.
Dr.
Fate.
Fate. Mm. Are you in on any of
And I
these?
know they did Cyclone and Atom Smasher as well. They have a Black Adam with the hood on. Yeah, here we go. His Atom Smasher.
Ewan says that he was posting it. He felt like he was betraying you, the show.
Yeah, it's all right, Ewan. We just report the news.
You
We
in?
don't make it.
Are you in on any of these?
No, not in the least.
Are you in on the movie? Are you interested?
Oh no, I'm gonna see the movie, but I'm not on these figures. No.
Hmm.
Now this is who I have a problem with. I don't know who Sabak is. I don't know this. I'm not familiar with this character. But we'll see. All right. Hold on. Take care of this real quick here.
Thank you.
All right. Dibby. Go over. Wasn't those other turtles? Because they did announce Master Splinter as
Oh yeah,
like Van Helsing.
the Vampire Hunter. Yeah, the Universal crossover. Yeah,
Yeah, and then
I mean, they're pretty popular. They seem to be Turtles fans seem to be interested. Yes,
and then we
this
also got
they
Casey Jones.
the Utrom, which we saw before, and then this Casey Jones with the removable mask or swappable head sculpt. This looks great. This is based on the Mirage, original Mirage comic book line appearance. So, for those of you who collected the original NECA Mirage line and are picking it up now with the Claw Shredder and the Loot Crate stuff, um, you'll fit in right nicely with your collection. I
Mm.
have some friends who weren't able to get the like the Raphael and the original Turtles that came out like 10, 12 years ago or whatever. So hopefully this is a sign that they'll be re-releasing them for those that weren't able to get them back in the day. Because secondhand market, man, those things are pretty pricey. And my God, I have them.
Yeah. And then is this Etron?
Utrom, yeah.
Utron.
hmm It's like in the 80s cartoons, Krang was like really the only Utrom that they ever really showed, even though there was a bunch of them. Um, but in the comics, right off the bat, it was like a race of them. Like there was a whole bunch of them. And most of the cartoon series, except for the original one, treat them as a race as opposed to just one bad guy.
Okay, yeah, I remember there was like a whole bunch of them.
Mm.
All right. All right, then, folks. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I don't have anything for next week. Alex, you
I
got
think it's
anything?
no, I think it's just us, right?
Yes, just us. Just
Maybe.
the two of us making
Mm.
castles in the sky. Just the two of us, you and I.
Mm. Well, we had a
Um,
pretty packed show today with Ramen
yes.
Toy. Thanks again, Ace, for coming on, and we were able to get into a bit of the news, talk a little about HasLab and his tank. So, packed show.
Oh, that's right.
Mm.
Don't forget, Iconicon is going on this week. Uh, I will be on tomorrow. It'll be on tomorrow, but I'll be on tomorrow's panel. Oh shoot, at 6 o'clock. On 2 cents toys, and I forget the name of Dane Blaster pen. Oh my goodness, I feel so bad. I forget the name of the panel I'm going to be on.
It's
But tune in
about
at 6 o'clock on 2 cent toys. I'll be on there talking about movies to video games.
yeah.
We're gonna be talking about old '80s video games that were turned into movies, and then so on. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun, definitely. And then I know Sunday you're on. You say you're Alex.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on the Valverse Bobby's channel at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna be talking about the first Ninja Turtles movie and you know all that Ninja Turtles stuff from the early '90s. So yeah, tune in at 6 p.m. if you can and watch me, Bobby. I believe Jeremy Jernigan is going to be on there. Maybe Sal is also going to be. I can't remember everyone. I briefly checked at the chat that we're all in. Just been so busy with kid stuff and vacation stuff, but we will be there 6 p.m. talking about the first Ninja Turtles movie, which is to this day still the best Ninja Turtles movie.
Yeah. Oh, we do have the day ready for when we're going to do general collectors talk. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to be July 31st. So it's a Sunday. Time has not been announced as of yet. Still trying to hammer that down. But we will be joined by Dan Hu, Brandon, uh, shoot, Victoria's Canteen,
Mm-hmm.
and then me and Alex will be there. So it'll be hosted on this channel. Um, and Mario, if he can make it. Mario will be there. If not,
Please, Mario.
maybe
We'll,
maybe somebody
we'll, have,
else.
we'll
Yeah,
have to
well,
replace him. But that's going to be fun, man. We're going to be talking about, you know, the real life aspects of collecting, as we
yes.
grow older and decrepit and cold hearted,
Uh,
especially you,
yeah.
Bobby.
Do I show my
What are
collection? Oh no.
the arthritic, gray, bald.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we're going to be talking about everything from some of the things that Dante actually even mentioned today on the show about running out of space for all the toys that we have. What do we do with this stuff as we get older? Does the spark gone from collecting as we get, all that stuff that doesn't have to do about just pre-ordering toys and buying them in the hunt. We're
Yeah.
talking about everything that's kind of real world issue attached to it. So it'll be very interesting to hear everybody's thoughts on that from different perspectives. We've got a whole color palette and gamut of different guests that are going to be throwing their opinions in. We've got the Victoria female perspective. We've got different ethnicities perspective and ages and different points in our lives where we're collecting. So it's going to be fun. We've been mulling over this idea for a little while, I guess,
Yeah.
since Brandon came on the show, and that's kind of where the germ of the idea started.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
then
going to be fun. I'm
yeah,
looking forward.
if it works out, then we may do it again.
Sure.
Um, Other than that, don't forget August will be coming up and getting ready for Toys for Tots. Got some things working out. Some stuff to work out. Almost finished, but it'll be ready. It'll be ready. That's all I got. Tony, why don't you take us out, Deseret? Well, you know. Hold on, let me see if I can get his voice right.
Oh, okay. You almost made him sound like Dan Who.
I know. So Tony, what you think of the show tonight? Well, no.
Oh God.
Yeah. Tony, why don't you just go ahead and take us out? Say good night, everybody. Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.